Hello, my name is Pinky, and I'm quite excited to be sharing with you this morning about what God has just been saying to me and how God has been encouraging me. I'm not sure what you're going through and what you are facing in your life right now, whether it's struggles you are dealing with or what are you trusting God for, your circumstances. I am not sure of that, but God is. And I just felt God was saying to me that sometimes we need to come before Him just believing who He is, just trusting and knowing who He is, who He is and who He says we are to Him. And, when you read in Scripture in Romans 12, verse 3, it speaks about the measure of faith that has been given to each and every one of us. And that encouraged me that God has given me a measure of faith to come before Him, to just surrender and submit to His authority, knowing who He is, knowing what He has called me for, knowing what He has in store for me. Just come before Him, believing it. That's all I need to do. I need to have faith and trust that God is who He says He is. And when God says He is who He says He is, and we start to believe it and trust it, then our perspective starts to change. The way we look at our situation and our circumstances starts to change. When you think of the story of the woman who went and she touched Jesus's garment and got her healing. This is the woman who was struggling with an issue of blood for many years. And she didn't have to ask Jesus first beforehand and say, can I actually, she went believing with her measure of faith and went and touched Jesus's garment and she got her healing and she got healed from that, her measure of faith. Are we believing God today? Are we trusting God in every situation and not thinking of everybody else's opinion? Let it cloud our judgment. Let it fill us with every other possibility without actually considering what is God saying. And God is just saying to us today, just come believing that I am who I say I am. Come believing that I will do what I have promised to do, that I will fulfill my promises to you. I will always be your God. And we need to just come under that authority and trust that for our lives. You think of the story of Esther and how Esther went into the king's courtroom without an invitation. And in those days, that was a sign of actually signing your own death warrant, because you were not allowed to go until the king has called you to come or invited you to come. And Esther knew her purpose. She knew the circumstance of her people, and she went. Disregarding the law, disregarding everything else. She said, Lord, you go with me. She went and trusted God, believing, having faith in that God will deliver her. God will do what only God can do. And God actually did come through for Esther, and she was not killed at that moment. And it's such a thing for us to, sometimes we let our situations and our circumstances fill us and change our perspective, and doubt starts to cloud in. But today I just want to encourage you with this simple thing. Just believe that He is who He says He is. Just trust that He will do what only He can do. If we come under His authority, we come under the will of God, we come and we submit to Him, and then God will change the things that need to change in our lives. But none of that will happen until we actually truly come fully surrendering who we are at His feet. I hope you were encouraged today.